Yep. Okay, so we went into the second hive. This is the first hive closest to the house. This hive, you will see, has 2 honey supers on it. This one here was close to full or almost full. And this one here is about 6/10 or 3/4 of the way full. It's just about there. Like to see it a little bit more before we do the honey extraction, but that's what we're doing today. We're just trying to look to see what our honey, how the frames are with the honey. It's a very active hive, lots of bees. It's by far our strongest hive, so it'll be interesting to see. The other hive is very active right now with bee activity, but part of that's the heat. They're putting a lot of propolis in here, which is the bee glue, getting in there. So this is, again, the one that we had. Some frames were filled. We're going to work from the outer just to see what this first one looks like. Again, they're starting to draw out the comb, but there's no honey in those. The comb's not entirely drawn out, so they're working on it. That's the first frame. They'll work from the center out, but I'm going to pull it closer to the center frame. I don't normally do that, but I just want to see what that looks like in here. Okay. Now this is much more drawn out, the comb, and there's a lot of nectar and things in there, but none of it's capped. So we will not be able to extract this because it's not capped. It needs to be capped, and if we can get to a capped frame, I'll show you. In the other hive we saw a couple, but it has to be capped. It'll look white to the camera, and if it's not capped, they won't have taken the moisture content to the correct numbers, and just none of these are capped. Now they're putting a lot of nectar in there, and it's a very, very active hive, but just none of it's capped. So in the interest of time, and I don't think that we really need to know anything else about this hive, this one, we're going to pop this box off, trying to center those frames, and we're going to see the next box down to see if we have full, if we can get a full box of honey, because that's the goal. Next one down, again, our very active hive. We'll work from the outside in again and see what it looks like. Then we'll kind of go from there. It's not entirely done, but it's heavily, it's drawn out very heavily, and the nectar's in there pretty strong, but it's not capped. So when the bee guy comes, the professional that's going to work with me on my first extraction, we'll have to figure out a plan. So that's 1, 2, I'm going to come in the second frame. This one was half capped before. I want to see if they've made any more progress with this one. So that's pretty much good on that side. And on here they're getting a little better, but it's not much more than half capped. Yep, it's pretty solid. So we're going to get maybe 8 or 9 frames of honey. It's not a lot. If we get 15 or 20 pounds, I think that would be a lot. Let me pull this frame here. This one here should be capped. Both sides. 100% capped. Well, I say 100%. There's a small little section there. That's on the inside, but the outside there, 100% capped as well. So
hold it up.
You can see the cappings where it's all capped. That's honey inside there. Same thing here. So for the extraction process, you'll take a hot knife, basically cut off or remove the wax cappings to get to the cells where the honey is. And then once they drop this frame in an extractor, it'll spin much like a washing machine. It'll spin and all the honey will pull out of it, and then you bring the frames back out for the bees to clean them up, and then you store them for the winter. So we're hoping to do that here in the next week or 10 days.